Hello and welcome to my guide exploring how you can take advantage of the greatest power in Crusader Kings 3, your domain limit. Domain limit is of course the amount of holdings you can afford to personally hold before taking heavy debuffs to levies, gold and opinion, so maximising your cap is very important to gain as much value out of your held territories as possible. In this video, I shall approach each way to get domain limit with some lighter tips to reach them, and so before long you can try to pursue the true goal of owning entire kingdoms without a single county vassal. For the purposes of presentation, I shall be framing this through the ambition of wanting to own the entirety of England as one character, meaning we need 41 domain limit as the final goal. In doing so, we shall be taking advantage of not having any vassals, owning all of the special buildings, and being the strongest power in all of Europe, if not the entire world. As a final note, this video was made for patch 1.12.5 Scythe, after Legends of the Dead DLC, and prior to Roads to Power, so some information may become updated in the future when you watch this. With that all being said, shall we begin? Title rank. Keeping it simple, as soon as you start the game, you will be given a base domain limit based on your title rank. Counts and dukes get 2, kings get 3, and emperors will get 4. So if your ambition is to hold as much land as possible, do not shy away from holding a higher rank of title such as king or emperor. Stewardship. In my experience, the easiest way to boost domain limit is by boosting your stewardship skill. For every 6 points of stewardship, you gain 1 domain limit. This means if you maximise your stewardship to the cap of 100, you can get 16 domain limit, which on the quest for England puts us at a 20 total domain if you're an empire. In previous patches, it used to be 5 stewardship per domain limit, meaning you could get a total of 20 from stewardship alone, but those days are now behind us. A positive note, however, is that because your cap is 16 domain from 100, the cap stops you from needing to get the full 100, and you can actually settle for a quaint 96 stewardship to get the full 16 domain. So what are some good ways to maximise getting to this number? Well, for starters, taking every opportunity to boost your base stewardship stats, which is best done in childhood. Starting as a baby ruler, you can find plenty of events with guardians, tutors, wet nurses, friends, and meet peers activities that can boost you to a high stewardship before the true game even begins. Because of this, I highly recommend taking these court positions and following these goals as soon as you're able. Additionally, try to aim for getting personality traits like just, diligent, stubborn, temperate, and occasionally ambitious for some extra stats. Growing older, your aim is to have a good stewardship education. A level 5 education can grant you 10 stewardship, which thanks to university activities can be done in a good 20-year cooldown, even if you only hit a level 3 or 4 education. Just make sure to boost your learning with perks like scholarly circles and spouse task support, as a lot of university success events are based on learning skill checks. In my experience, this will land you to around 8 base stewardship by the time you turn 16, which then has personality and an education trait applied to get you to around 25 to 30 stewardship depending on your luck and RNG. With 26 stewardship at 16, you may have more or less yourself. The next goal would be to find someone special in your life who can lend you their mental economic prowess to hold an extra holding or 2. To do this, make sure to marry a spouse with high stewardship, as with the managed domain task, they grant 50% of their stewardship skill to you. So, a 20 stewardship wife would grant me 10 stewardship. But there's more, because if you get the loyalty and respect perk found near the bottom of the gallantry of the martial lifestyle, skills from your spouse are increased by an additional 25%, making it 75%. For example, if we were to marry this 32 stewardship lowborn gardener, this will grant me a remarkable 24 stewardship. For this alone, you may be able to see why it's worth visiting a few martial experience landmarks on your travels to stack some perks, even if you're not building a martial character. Now we're sitting at a very wholesome 50 stewardship at the age of 21, the quest for a monolithic 96 stewardship is one of luck and grinding for traits. Completing the stewardship trees can grant you 7 stewardship plus the 3 from the domain focus itself for 10 from the stewardship tree. Additionally, if you find yourself in the overseer path, you may pick up a couple stewardship points from the overseer trait itself. For something more short term, I recommend going on a nice long pilgrimage to level your traveller trait to get 2 stewardship from the seasoned subpath, which is, in my experience, very easy to level by just passing through a lot of dangered provinces if you go on a very long pilgrimage to the other side of the world. As you progress, some key things to look out for are the gardener trait, which can come from random events, the shrewd trait, which is best found in childhood events, but even better is just taken in the ruler designer if you're going with a custom character, artifacts, which can lend anywhere between 1 to 3 stewardship, or come with caveats such as stewardship from stress. I also recommend commissioning legend artifact books if you have completed a legend, as they can sometimes give you free stewardship per book. Becoming Catholic means you have access to the Roma Holy Site, which gives you 1 bonus stewardship. Devoting yourself to 4 as an asatru can give you 2, or having the diasporic cultural tradition can give you an additional 1. One final port I can also consider for you to try and get some stewardship comes in the form of positive genetics. So if you're trying to breed yourself into some intelligence, you can go from a small candle all the way up to a genius, which can grant you 5 to all stats, which of course includes stewardship. To conclude this section, you can see there is most certainly a path to success for getting a significant amount of stewardship, although in truth, reaching the final 96 is pretty much an unrealistic task in my experience, so it's safer to usually settle around 60 to 66 to get a respectable 10 to 11 domain. Divided attention perk. Let's combat that huge section about stewardship with something short and sweet. As you progress down the architect path in the stewardship branch, there is a perk called Divided Attention that grants you +2 domain limit for maximizing domain limit. This is a must pick. Dynasty Legacies. By collecting renown, you can level the lore Dynasty Legacy path to reach the final home estates for 1 more domain limit. A few good ways to quickly boost some renown are hosting grand activities, such as grand tours, commissioning artifacts like crowns and regalia, which have an event that can occasionally grant you some renown, but mostly landing family members so that they can independently boost renown on their own. And then, if you're really feeling up to it, picking a made decision, such as elevating the Kingdom of Man and the Isles, can sometimes give you a hefty amount of renown that can get you straight to the finish line right at the start of the game. Artifacts. Artifacts are possibly the hardest way to gain renown because of their unpredictability. Certain artifacts in CK3 have the chance to generate with +1 domain limit. To the totality of my knowledge, this can come in the form of crowns and thrones, which at illustrious level can be generated through inspired courtiers to give you +1 domain limit. You can also hold up to 4 trinkets in your inventory, and they can also have the chance to have domain limit. This can come in the form of brooches and rings, which can be won at grand tournaments, and boar tusks that can be gained from hunts. Small wall hangings for your royal court, such as boar hides, also from hunts, can give you +1 domain. And additionally, you can have up to 4 pedestal items. Typically, this is the most complicated way to get, because you'll have to get a trinket, such as a brooch from a grand tournament, and then find an antiquarian to convert it into a pedestal item that you display inside of your royal court. You'll then also need to go get another trinket to replace the trinket you just converted. Adding that all up, you can have 1 crown, 1 throne, 4 trinkets, 3 wall hangings, and 4 pedestal items, for a total of 13 artifacts, granting 13 bonus domain for all the random tat you collect on your travels. For some additional help with trying to get some of these artifacts, The best way you can collect a lot of them is by gaining the Accomplished Forger perk from the Diplomat tree, so you can spend a mass of prestige to buy claims on artifacts and take them for yourself. After that, the goal is generating them as often as possible. To do this, I recommend hosting a max level tournament as often as you are able, giving out the best prize. This means even if you don't win the prize, you can still claim the prize using the Accomplished Forger perk and take it for your own. This also applies to people who are doing hunts all across the map, so make sure to check around in people's courts to see if any famed hunters have some bear hides or bear tusks hiding in their inventory which you can go claim. Lastly, there are 2 historical artifacts that can generate in the base game every game that can have domain limit. In Constantinople, the Byzantine Emperor holds the Crown of Justinian, which can, from the start of the game, fill one of those pedestal slots. The other one is actually RNG based and may require you to restart the game to see it. The Throne of Scone in Scotland has a chance to spawn with a high level economic bonus, which could be domain taxes, it could be something to do with your vassals, but it also could be a domain limit bonus. Make sure to check when you spawn into your game if you want to take advantage of this. Innovations. As you progress through the game and your culture picks up more innovations, 2 you may want to focus on are Gavelkind in Tribal Era, which is quick to get, and the much later Court Officials in the Late Medieval Era for 2 additional domain limit. That being said, the sheer distance to the 1200 AD unlock of the Late Medieval Era period, plus the era merge time, plus the technology research time, make it hard to truly count getting court officials as a serious way to raise domain limit on a standard playthrough, and it's more of a late game bonus buff, so reasonably just make sure you get Gavelkind and we'll take the +1. Religion. To wrap up all of the fair methods, possibly the most awkward way to gain domain limit is through religion, by either picking a religion or forming one, which has either the pacifism or the dharmic pacifism tenets. Each of these respectively gives you 1 domain limit, but in my honest opinion, unless you seek to play down the playstyle of a peaceful, anti-war, tree-hugging hippie, I don't think it's cited as the most entertaining playstyle for just 1 measly additional domain limit. If your heart is set on this, however, I recommend taking the Apostate perk to change your religion to one with pacifism, or the Prophet perk to convert your current religion to one that will adopt the pacifism tenet. Cheating game options. I'm not sure if I even count this as a method, but if you're really needing to stretch it out to the finish line, you can add +3 domain limit as a achievement compatible setting in the vanilla game options. I'm still not too sure if I agree with this as a valid way of doing it, because there's no kind of in-game methodology. You're just giving yourself something for free, which was kind of put in as a replacement after they changed the stewardship from +5 per domain to +6 per domain, and I feel like we're playing for a proper difficulty, so you can do this, but I'm not counting it for this video. So, in conclusion, let's wrap up our count. Count as in number, not count as in title rank. If we were to maximize potential output, we would have +4 for being an emperor, +16 from 96 stewardship, +2 from the divided attention perk, +1 from the Lord Dynasty Legacy, +13 from collecting all of those artifacts, +2 from late game innovations, and +1 from pacifism religion. In total, that count would take us up to 39 domain limit. The total domain limit of England is 41. Damn. I'd have to use the cheating game rule to get across the finish line. Sadly, I cannot conceive of any other method of getting to that 41. But that doesn't mean there aren't plenty of kingdoms you could hold entirely on your own with no county level or higher vassals. Ireland is an easy hold at 14. Scotland is also very manageable at 26, Burgundy is an easy hold at 19, Italy raises the bar at 29, Norway pushes it higher at 30, and coming in at a fair proximity we have Persia and Poland almost meeting our 39 cap with 36 domain county holdings per kingdom. And remember, with this cap, every building in every one of these holdings will give you their full buff, full gold, full levies, and the bonuses from their special buildings. So, if you're feeling brave, you can embark to hold as many special buildings for as many bonuses across the world as possible, or create with your legends. It's up to you. With that though, I'll end this explorative guide on how you can min-max all of the different methods to boost your domain limit to fully exploit the game's avenues of land ownership. In time, maybe more methods will be created to allow me to form England solo, or maybe I missed something and you'll tell me about it in the comments. Regardless, if you liked this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, as it really helps me out and motivates me to make more videos. With that all being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!